What do horses eat in wild and in domestication? Which is good for them? Should I give them any supplements? In what ratio should each feed be? How do I feed a horse in different stages and for different work? We shall see that today. I used to feed my horses all the branded concentrates and all the vitamin and calcium supplements in the market, thinking that it will make the horse actually look more muscular and strong. But I made several mistakes down the lane, and I will be sharing with you my experiences and my research work on feeding the right way for horses today. These are the three foundational things that you need to know about feeding your horse. Number 1. Major types of feed. Broadly classifying a horse feed into three categories. We have the green feed, the dry forage, and the concentrate feed. The green grass is what the horses naturally graze for the majority of their time, and this is the primary feed for horses. Wild horses depend just on high quality nutrient rich green grass alone for the entire lives and still stay healthy. But most of the artificially grown grass or the grass grown in farms are not as nutritious as the one in the wild grasslands. Also, we ask for extra work and expect an extra healthy skin, coat and hooves. We also breed and expect the foals growing inside the mother to be healthier. And we also spend more money and we do not want to take any chances. So domesticated horses need more than just green grass. The dry fodder is given to horses to balance the nutritional deficiencies in the green feed. See, the dry fodder is very dense in nutrition and calories, but they are also very high in fiber, which helps in easy digestion. By now we know that the digestive system of horses are very sensitive and they can very easily get colic issues in their digestive system, unlike the cows and goats, which can digest the food more efficiently by bringing back the food to the mouth and chewing again. Horses which do not have any access to the green grass can also find this feed to be highly useful and nourishing. Then comes the concentrate feeds. Concentrate feeds is not necessary for very idle horses or horses that are not doing any work or not even grazing freely outside. These are highly dense in calories and nutrients, but they are comparatively low in fiber. So this makes it a bit difficult for the horses to digest. We should never ever overfeed the concentrate feed to horses, especially if they are just inside their stables all day long. But this concentrate feed comes in different varieties and in different proportions that are custom and tailor-made for horses requiring different levels of macro and micronutrients. For example, a mare that is pregnant or lactating will need a different proportion of nutrients from a stallion that is regularly used for races and for breeding. Similarly, a growing young horse will need a totally different set of nutrients. Unfortunately, in India, still we do not have many brands that make horse feeds that are tailor-made. But we cannot blame them, as the horse feed industry in India is not a very profitable industry unlike the cattle feed industry. Cattle gives you an economical return and hence people do not hesitate to buy branded feed every month. But horses are not a great financial investment, right? Hence horse owners in India still rely on the traditional feeding practices. In some ways it is excellent, but sometimes some horses face malnutrition or colic issues because of that. So the feed choices within these three categories of feed will change based on the geography and the availability of a crop, grain, bran or a feed in your place. Just make sure to maintain this ratio of high, medium, low, which means giving a high green feed, a high to medium dry fodder and a comparatively lower concentrate feed. Number 2. Knowing how to feed. I would advise you to split the horse's concentrate meals as much as possible. Instead of giving all the feed in one serving, in the morning or evening for our convenience, just try to split the feed quantity and feed half in the morning and feed half in the evening. If possible, you can also split it into 3 and feed one by afternoon, but this will be practically a bit difficult. The green grass and the dry fodder have no restrictions. We can feed them all day long and they will digest it, as they are very rich in fiber and a natural food for the horses. In rare cases, the dry fodder might sometimes contain foreign particles like sand, dirt, or some glass and metal particles, and it can be very dangerous to the horse. So just kindly make a small check with your hands before feeding them every day. Also, make sure to avoid sand or mud, as it will promote colic in the horses. Now, if you are working your horse, make sure to avoid feeding your horse just before starting the work or immediately after you finish working the horse. Try to give a gap of at least 45 minutes before and after work. Interestingly, the cowboys in ranches in the US will be working their horses from dawn till dusk, so they do not have enough time to graze or take feed. They will be allowed to graze in free time while working during the day, even as the cowboys are sitting on their horsebacks. But this does not work in India. Trust me, I tried and faced huge problems. We work the horse for just a few minutes to a few hours. If we teach our horses to graze during the work, they will develop the bad habit of not focusing on the work and always trying to graze by putting their head down instead of working. The next I would strongly suggest is the availability of water throughout the day at all times. Water is very essential for horses, and it will prevent so many health issues in horses. Cattle can live without water for a longer time, but it is not healthy to treat the horses like that. Of course, our Indian breeds are desert breeds and can stay without water relatively better than the other horse breeds. But even they need regular water for optimal health. Another thing I would like to add is the quantity. The quantity for green and dry fodder is not restricted, but the quantity of concentrate feed should be properly measured and used. It will vary based on various factors like the horse's breed, age, gender, and the amount of work given every day. So feed judiciously. Number 3. Knowing the macro and micros. Just like us humans, horses need a proper amount of macro and micronutrients. They are also mammals, so their nutritional requirements are very similar to us. The macros include the carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. The micros include the essential vitamins and minerals. This is my exact horse feed routine. I feed green, dry, and concentrate at separate intervals during the day. I allow the horses to graze for at least 6 to 8 hours per day freely. This will almost provide their green feed quota. By evening, as the sun sets and I leave back home, I will provide another huge serving of the large green grass varieties like the Napier that I specifically grow for cattle and horses, followed by another huge serving of dry fodder, which is usually chaffed stems or stalks of jowar, which is also called as white corn. Each serving would be the size of a 50 kg regular feed bag. I used to buy concentrate feeds from some good brands, but now I customize my own feed with few ingredients like the alfalfa grass pellets, wheat bran, and coconut oil cake. I make sure to balance the diet with the daily required amount of carbs, proteins, and fats. A maintenance diet should include at least 10 to 12% of protein for idle horses, and for pregnant or growing horses, the protein should be at least 12 to 16% of the daily diet. Normally, fat percentage can be limited to 2 to 4% of the diet, but for horses requiring extra fat, we can even go up to 8%. Fiber is very essential for digestive health, and a large breed might approximately need around 7.5 to 10 kgs per day. But this is very difficult to calculate it practically every day. So just try to set a standard feed routine and observe the horse every week. And based on that, if you need the horse to put on weight and the current feed routine is not enough, then you can adjust accordingly. This is where the concentrate feed sources come very useful. They will supplement the deficient macros and micros provided they are trustworthy brands or if they are tailored for specific needs of your horses. Let me give you some example feed sources and you can use a feed of your choice based on your geography and availability. For green, I would suggest naturally grown pastures or giant grass varieties like the Napier. You can also provide green alfalfa, but this cannot be fed in huge amounts. For dry fodder, any stem or stalk of millets or grains would be good enough. In India, we can find the creeper stalks of groundnut or chana, which is a very good source of protein, calcium and fiber. You can also choose jowar stalks, corn or maize stalks at a very tender stage, which will be easy for the horses to chew. Some horses will also eat good quality hay. For concentrate feed, you have a variety of pre-packaged branded options. If you want to customize your own feed and have some experience, then you can choose the brand varieties like the rice, wheat and soy. You can add other grains like oats, barley or even wheat for carbs. But these should either be cooked or be steamed rolled during the manufacturing process. See, horses cannot digest raw grains directly and it will impact their digestive health. Be careful of that. For proteins, I would recommend soy or soy meal or even soy bran, but the best source of protein that I know and give is the alfalfa pellet. They are also high in calcium. We can feed them up to 2 kg per day, but 1 kg is enough if the other feeds are given properly. But it is a bit expensive and in India the market price is around 120 per kg, so use it judiciously. This is a pretty basic overview of horse feed. This is a very important part that will determine the overall health of the horse and at the same time prevent severe colic issues if maintained properly. I can say that this is essential to know before buying your first horse. So hope you found it useful. See you soon.